Okay, ready? Incoming. Here it comes. Woo! You gonna help me today? You gonna help or you just gonna sleep? Hey guys, welcome back to another Wednesday here on my channel where I do a story time while we do some chores. I always have laundry to fold, so that's always what I do. Although some of you have been requesting that I do different cleaning projects throughout my house, but I gotta get through this pile, so that's what I'm doing today. This is your cue to pause the video and head on over to a chore that you need to get done. And yeah, let's begin. If this is your first time here and you're here to listen to this story, thank you so much for joining and for being such a big fan of Angela. I know there are a lot of you out there, and it just means the world to me, and I know it means the world to the showmakers and the fellow cast members. So thank you for being here. And I'm here on this channel Monday through Thursdays, so stick around. Let's begin. By the way, don't get white hand towels. These were gifted to us, which was so kind, and I really like them, but like, you can't keep dish towels that are white clean. It's just not cute. So today we are talking about how I came to be and my experience as the voice of Talking Angela in the Talking Tom and Friends series. Talking Tom is an app that I think has been around forever. It's a game. And it was like one of the first, I said that and I don't know that to be true, but it was like a huge app and game for kids that I felt like was kind of one of its first of its kind and became really popular really fast. And so there's a whole like entity around Talking Tom. They have action figures. I think that at one point they had action figures in McDonald's, which is so cool. But what I personally do or have done, I haven't done it in a while and I will get to that, is voice the YouTube. It started off as YouTube Kids series and now I believe it's moved over to Netflix, or Netflix like picked it up off of YouTube Kids. So it is a short form series, cartoon series, and I do the voice of Angela, Talking Angela, the cat, the sassy cat, and it is probably my favorite job that I've ever had, and that is not an exaggeration. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I have been working in the voiceover world for a really long time, straight out of college. I started doing looping. Looping is a really bizarre but cool experience. Basically, when you watch any sort of TV show or movie, if there's like a bunch of background characters at a party or let's say at a restaurant, when they're actually filming that, the people, the extras in the background aren't talking, they're just like mouthing and pretending to talk, and then loopers come in after the movie or TV show is edited, and we come in and we fill in the sounds so that they can like lay it in properly and so that all the sounds like work together, because if all the extras were talking in the background in real time, it would just be like a sound disaster. So I kind of got my start doing looping, and from there I kind of just like fell in love with the art of voiceover work, and I learned like the etiquette of being in a booth, and you know, I just kind of learned by doing. And so then flash forward, I'm doing YouTube and I've done a few little voiceover things here and there, but then I got booked on a job at Yahoo. And you guys, if you've been around forever, you know, I worked at Yahoo for like 2 years. I hosted their morning like recap show. It was kind of like we would do like news stories, but they would be funny and they would be about like morning TV. So like, oh my God, my brain. What's like a morning show, like Katie Couric or whatever in the morning. Does Katie Couric do it? Wow, Lisa, like the Today Show. There we go. Like the Today Show, and then we would do like recap of funny things that happened on that, and I would host that. So I was doing that for several years, and one of the directors on that got hired to direct and cast the Talking Tom series that was just beginning. This was a long time ago. And so he was like, hey, would you want to audition for this? Like, there's a part that might be good for you. I was like, oh, well, absolutely, I will audition for this. Didn't really realize like what it was or how big of a deal it was. I don't even think I knew what Talking Tom was at the time. And so he was like, okay, here's the script. You need to sing in it because she's a cat pop star. and she'll be singing a lot. So I need you to read the lines and then sing like this thing kind of a cappella. Okay, well, when do you need this done by? And he was like, actually, if you can get it done by the end of the night. I was like, okay. So I go home and I'm like, I don't know, I'm making YouTube videos, I don't know if I have time. All right, I'll just do this really quickly. And so I sat in my closet. I remember exactly what spot I sat in, and I did it on my iPhone because at the time I didn't have a recording setup. Now we have a setup. It's not that fancy, but we can do it out of Jeff's closet with like a proper mic and everything. I think I might have shown you guys that in some videos. So I'm like in the closet, I'm doing the thing, and I'm like just giving it my all, but like, I don't know, I didn't really... this is a good lesson in general for auditions and for interviews and anything. Like, I didn't like feel any pressure because I guess I was just kind of like ignorant to how big of a deal it would end up being. And so I kind of just like did it without too much worry or stress. I obviously like put in the effort and like made sure I was happy with what I was sending in. But sometimes with auditions, if I like know that it's going to be like seen by big directors or whatever, the pressure kind of sets in and that like overrides my brain, and then I don't focus as much on the actual like audition and the work. I just am like pre-worrying about everything. So this was just so casual and like so sort of out of my element at the time, that I just kind of like busted it out and I sent it in. Well, we come to learn, obviously I get the part, which is so exciting, but I come to learn that they like auditioned so many different people, including some big named people. And for some reason, they just loved my little voice. I do feel like I sound a lot younger than I actually am. And you know, I can turn on the cartoon a little bit. So I booked this job and I'm like, cool, like what's the deal? Well, as it turns out, it's like a huge deal because not only did they order, I can't remember how many episodes were in the first season, but there were a lot. We're talking like 25 at least, which is a big job because that means you get to work 25 times, or rather you get like contracted for 25 episodes, which is fantastic for the paycheck and just for like work. Like to be constantly working is amazing. But I also learned, one, that my role was like this awesome kind of like iconic to the game role. Everyone loves Angela and she was really the only female character in there for a while. So that was really fun. And then two, that my fellow castmates were like huge time voiceover people, including Tom Kenny. Tom Kenny is the voice of SpongeBob. Like, that guy is a legend. And so to be able to like go into work, so, well, let me back up. So Tom Kenny's in there, Maria Bamford, who's amazing, is in there, and Colin Hanks. Okay, like starstruck. So, and James Adomian, and a few other like really like hysterical and like well-renowned comedians and voiceover artists. So I'm just like a little baffled, like, oh my God, I don't know like exactly what I'm doing, but I trained in acting, I did looping, so I can just like fake it until I make it. And so I don't like have a specific memory of the very first time I went in, but I will tell you how the process went. Basically, you go into a studio, which is so fun. Voiceover studios are the best. Everyone that works there is super nice, and like, at the time there was like, you'd go in and they'd be like, okay, like what would you like to drink? And there's snacks, and like on Fridays sometimes they would do happy hour. They'd always order like big beautiful lunches. I mean, it was just like extravagant and fancy and wonderful. They like valet your car. I mean, truly, this was like the most cush and like delightful job ever. Like if I could do that for the rest of my life, I would be so thrilled. Anyways, they don't actually have you record together with your castmates. They just have you record by yourself. And so it's like you go into this room and just like you've probably seen on any like recording studio where you like go behind the glass. So the director, the sound dude, and usually like a writer or two would be behind the glass, and you'd be in the room like looking at them with headphones on. And oftentimes they would have the actual image of the show playing if you had to like match a certain moment, like match the mouth moving. But for this, mostly we would record before seeing the image, and then they would match the image to our sound, if that makes sense. So you go in there kind of like by yourself, and you would just read your lines, and then they would give you directions, and then you would do it again. Once in a while, if there was like something you needed to match, or that there have been so many fire trucks going by my place today, or police and fire. It's a little concerning. We'll just keep folding and talking about fun times. Anyway, yeah, once in a while we would do reads together as a cast, or like Colin and I would do a read together because like our characters were always together, and that was really cool, and he's very, very, very nice. But mostly by ourselves. But the best was like they would basically stack our sessions, so you would arrive, and usually they're running late because that's just how this stuff goes. But the best is that I could sit and watch the person before me, and so to watch Tom Kenny, as I was kind of alluding to earlier, was like, listen, you can take all the voiceover classes in the whole entire world, all the acting classes, but to be able to sit and watch Tom Kenny, SpongeBob, and the voice of many other iconic characters like work, to watch him work is like the best masterclass of all time. I am forever thankful that I got that opportunity. That guy is not only a master of the art, but he's also one of the nicest people I've ever met. He's humble, he's kind, he's good. So were all the other people. To watch Maria work, to watch them all work. I like kind of had to pinch myself most of the time, and really try to convince myself that I was meant to be there, because most of the time I just felt like such a fake. But it was such a fun experience. We went on to do 5 seasons, I think, or 6 seasons. You guys will know better. I think they just finished airing season 5, but each like season had so many episodes, like up to 30. So we did a lot of work. This went on for years. And it's just the most wonderful experience. Every time I went to work, I was happy. It was exhausting because they do have chairs, but like you basically like stand the whole time, and you're like exerting so much energy because the characters are big and animation is big, and because it's a kid's show, it's really big, and sometimes you'd have to do a scene like a million times. But the thing that was the most exhausting for me personally was the songs, because, okay, so the people that like were producing it were actually in Slovenia. So the people that wrote the music were in Slovenia. We had like a writer's room here, but the music for some reason was over there, and so we would have to like connect with them via like a Skype. I don't even think Zoom was really around then. And then they would give notes, and then I'd have to do it again and again, and then they changed the tempo, and then they changed that. And I am not a professional singer, and they, for some reason, just like never brought in like a proper like music coach or anything. So I just like, me and my directors like had to figure it out. And so recording the songs like over and over again, that part was so challenging and difficult, but also like I was just really proud of myself. Some of the songs don't sound great, but you know, whatever. We tried our best, and people seem to really like it. I'll leave the link to the Talking Tom and Friends page so you can check out the episodes. I also voiced a bunch of other characters on there, one of them being the waitress, who's in a lot of episodes, and then just like random characters here and there. My confidence, like, it got better as we went on, but for a while there, I was like pretty like nervous. I was good with doing Angela, but doing other characters like always kind of made me nervous because I don't know, I just like was so new to this that I just, again, felt like I was a fraud. I had like imposter syndrome like to the maximum capacity. So I'm trying to think of like some fun like asides. We went on we had like one red carpet press moment. It was for the opening of season 1, and it was at the YouTube space, which I don't know if the YouTube space actually still exists. But that was really fun, and I remember that Colin and I did an interview for like 17 magazine together, and I was like, this is trippy, like I'm doing this, like I am a part of this world right now, and I'm so nervous but so excited. That was cool. But then we like went and did a panel on stage, and mind you, this is a kid's show, and so someone had asked me a question, someone in the audience had asked me a question, and I dropped like the F-bomb. It was either the F-bomb or I said, it was like a bad word, and I dropped it and I covered my mouth immediately, and everyone was like laughing at me. But I definitely like, I don't know if anyone was mad at me, but I felt really bad about that. I was like, all right, Lisa, pull it together. You're not on YouTube anymore. This is a kid show. Other than that, I think we did like a few promo videos, which were really fun. And I was supposed to go out to Slovenia actually to like meet with the people that made it and like do a behind the scenes there. But that trip ended up getting canceled and I can't remember why. But yeah, it's just been such a wonderful experience. So they, obviously when the pandemic came, I think we had actually just finished season 5. So that was already done and they slowly released them. Like I said, it had been like 2 years since we recorded that. And it just finally got all released. So I get messages all the time asking if season 6 is going to come out, and my answer, my true answer is I actually don't know. They seem to be not sure if they're going to proceed with season 6 or not. If you want it, definitely reach out to them on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, Twitter. Let them know that you want to see it, because I think they're focusing a lot on the video game aspect of it, but they said that it might come back. I'm just like praying for so many reasons. I really enjoy working, generally speaking, and being able to have that opportunity and that consistency is just like incredible. There's so much happening outside. I'm so sorry. But yeah, and I also just like deeply love Angela. She is a sassy, funny, kind, but kind of like a toddler of a rock star cat. And I just have been having so much fun with her journey, and I just like want it to continue and see what happens myself. I'm a huge fan of the show, and I think that the writers on it are so smart. It's one of those shows that like adults can watch. I mean, it's clearly made for kids, but I feel like parents can watch it and still enjoy the humor of it, and those are like the best kind of kid shows. So yeah, that is my that is my Talking Tom and Friends story and how I became the voice of Angela. And I'm sorry I don't have a better answer in terms of whether it's going to come back or not, but that's what I got for you for the moment, and I'm going to keep pushing. And if I get any updates, I will absolutely let you know. Some of you are just like true fans, man. I see you out there. I see you commenting and asking questions, and I wanted to acknowledge that and let you know that I so appreciate it, and that you're a big part of my life. And Angela has been a big part of my journey as an artist and a huge learning experience, and I'm really, really grateful for it. So there you go. That's my story time. If she met Angela in real life, she would freak out though, because she's not a cat fan. And I would sneeze profusely, so there you go. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's story time. In the comments below, 1, let me know if you watched Talking Tom and Friends, and 2, let me know what story time you want me to do next. This was a request by someone. I'm so sorry. I should have screenshot who requested this, but whoever did, you know who you are, and thank you so much. This was a great idea, and I appreciate you very much. All right, y'all. I will see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.